Hey guys, welcome to Two Dudes Talking. Today we're going to be talking about two of our favorite films, Matrix versus Fight Club.
Yeah.
Who is it?
Fight Club's way better.
No,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
it's great,
It's great and it's better.
but it's just not.
It's honestly better. Today, yeah, we're talking about Fight Club versus The Matrix. Both movies in '99.
Mm-hmm.
Both movies we love.
Mm-hmm.
Love them to death.
Both mind-bending,
Movies.
mysterious, crazy.
Tons of wild exposition.
Really cool similarities, a lot of differences.
Yeah.
The exposure,
Very
for
much
one.
so. Yeah.
Matrix was huge. I remember that was, again, 1999, so I would have been 13. This was actually the first movie that I ever got caught at the theaters trying to get into that was rated R. And my sister's roommate at the time, I saw her walking through the lobby. Bang, 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 bang. And missed the first music and such. But like,
Just the Trinity scene?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Or halfway to it, yeah.
I mean, dang, for being 13, I remember leaving that movie, and I don't think the word was around yet, but I was woke and confused about a lot of stuff. Woke.
Yeah. That's...
Big reception.
I definitely went and saw it with Dad, so I would have been 10.
Right.
So I definitely couldn't have gotten in. Is it rated R?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yep.
Okay.
All three are R.
Okay, great. That's awesome. That's good to know. Because it could have been one of those movies that was like PG-13 with the F word in it type thing. But no, so that's great. So yeah, definitely went and saw it with Dad. Mm-hmm. Crazy. And then what about Fight Club?
So Fight Club, I saw it in the theaters with my sister. I love Brad Pitt and Edward Norton and Helena Bonham Carter. Sister was great growing up. She exposed us to. She shared everything with us that she was into. Yeah, here, children, take this.
Have some more.
Right. So like,
have some more debauchery.
Yeah. But I mean, no, I loved it. I mean, I know first time I saw Fight Club, I remember getting like 2/3 of the way through the movie and being like, well, great. Now I'm going to have to watch this movie over again.
Yeah.
And then being so happy when I did. Like,
Right.
it's such a great movie.
Yeah.
What about you with these two?
So yeah, Matrix was in the theater with Dad for sure. Fight Club, I didn't watch till like maybe 5 years after it came out, like 2004. On DVD. Just bought the DVD, knew it was going to be dope.
Right.
Love Brad Pitt as well. Favorite actor, top 3. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Probably top 3 of mine.
But yeah, loved it. Like watched it once and then watched it, 100 times.
So tell us about that picture.
So this is a photo that I actually bought for my office space at my old job. I can't even remember the site it came off of, but I was just looking at like pop culture art and just typed in like Fight Club or Brad Pitt.
Word.
Saw it. I was like, hell yeah. Tyler Durden.
For real, that's probably... So this is the one thing about Fight Club. It's one of my probably top 2 or 3 roles for Brad Pitt.
Oh, yeah.
I think this and Snatch and parts of Seven were really, really great as well.
Yeah.
But I love Tyler Durden. Just, again, the similarities in these movies. Like, when I started that movie, I was thinking either movie, I was thinking one thing about it. And then by the end of it, I'm like, I just had no idea what I'd been in for.
Yeah.
One of the reasons The Matrix is a little bigger for me is it was more fantasy driven. Because like a mental struggle, that can be a pain.
Yeah.
So I loved Fight Club and how it was delivered. But then The Matrix just blew my mind.
Yeah.
Like it bugged me. It irked me so bad. Like I remember watching the first time when all the things came out of his arms.
Oh gosh.
And just being so uncomfortable.
The being born scene.
Yes, the rebirth is wild.
Oh god, dude. makes me cringe.
It's a cringy scene.
Because those like cables just pop off.
Yeah, doesn't look pleasant.
Yeah.
And this big rod comes out the back of the dude's head. Like,
and he's in this gross liquid. He's in liquefied humans.
Yes.
That are feeding him. Oh,
it's hard.
Gross.
But even the Matrix by itself, not considering the other two at all, I think is a little. I appreciate it just a little bit more. I loved that they had the same kind of message, at least what I took out of it. So that's what this is, guys. This is our opinions on this stuff. I'm not going to say that I'm right or wrong about any of this stuff because this is my opinion.
Right. Even though you are wrong.
Yeah, most of the time. Except for this one. Fight Club sucks. The whole picture that both of these movies paint is that you're a part of a system. Mm-hmm. You are being taken advantage of, and you don't even know it. And it's true.
Yeah, you're a slave.
Yes, we all are to our own degrees slaves. Mm-hmm. This not just the removing yourself from that system, but the destruction of that system is both the ultimatum of these things. We were talking about in the episode where we're just talking about, we're comparing between film and movie. There's just more time with the characters, more time.
Oh, with TV and movies.
Yeah, with these two movies here.
Yeah.
The Matrix has a little more spread out, a little more. I know the changes in Keanu Reeves' character from the first to the final movies are just totally different characters.
Yeah. They're both small casts, for the most part. Matrix is a little bigger.
Right.
But you do get a lot of time with both main characters. Mm-hmm. And Fight Club, you obviously have Edward Norton just the whole time.
Edward Norton, too, was killing it.
Yeah, slaying it. Yeah. And then you get, Brad Pitt. So you get equal amount of time with them. And then you got Helena Bonham Carter. Who kills it as well.
I've had a crush on her since Fight Club.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Who does, but it's basically those three.
Right.
And then random
Meatloaf.
Yeah, random Meatloaf and Jared Leto and
right.
All these other guys. And then the Matrix, you get plenty of time with Keanu Reeves, Neo, Lawrence Fishburne, Carrie-Anne Moss.
So I think I like Morpheus more than Neo in the Matrix series.
Oh, I think hell yeah.
I mean, that's one of the best.
He's Obi-Wan Kenobi.
He is. He really is.
It's the
in a more modern.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to say in a more modern because Star Wars is futuristic. Is crazy, but anyways.
Yeah, well, the Matrix is too.
Right. But yeah, I mean, he's there. He's present, but he's also like undoubting, even in his moments of failure. Like the characters, the casting in both of these movies is phenomenal.
Yeah. What's attractive about? Well, that's just like the story arcs of so many movies and shows and books. It's like what's attractive about Morpheus and Tyler Durden is their confidence in themselves and their mission.
Right.
And it's like nobody, for the most part, in reality, we all have aspects of all these characters.
Right.
But like a lot of people aren't that confident.
That bold.
Yeah. That bold for sure. I mean, there's definitely.
But that confident, yeah.
There's definitely a lot of people that are way confident as they are, but that's the attractive quality in them.
Right.
Like,
which is why Brad Pitt came around in the first place in Fight Club.
Yeah.
So tell me what's your favorite things about your favorite 2 or 3 things about Fight Club? Like what really sticks out to you, not just like it being one of your favorite films, or movies, but like
the director.
Yeah.
The cinematography, the cinematography in both movies is great. Mm-hmm. But Fight Club is just like, it's grungy.
Yeah.
It's dark shadows. It does feel like a different world, even though it is in your.
It was so dirty.
It's present day.
It was so dirty.
Yeah. Whereas like, it's present day but it's not meant to be like a different reality.
Right.
It just shows you this is what this guy's going through as an insomniac.
Right.
Whereas the Matrix, the cinematography is beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. But it's also made to feel like a different time.
Right.
A different
the coloring.
Yes.
It just looks like there's the old City of Darkness. I don't know if you've ever seen that. Great movie around the same time period.
Yeah.
One of the best shot films I've ever seen.
Okay.
But the neat thing about about the Matrix is like if you pause it at any point in time, you're looking at a sick still.
Yeah.
I mean, both of these movies are pretty cool, but like
the Matrix had that probably
it's
over
wild.
Yeah. When we watched it the other day, it was
impressive.
I was going through that. I was like, "Yep, that's
as we're watching it." Like, yeah,
great still.
Dang,
One of the most iconic shots is when they are about to get the bug out of Neo, or right after, but he's under the bridge.
Yep,
and the range just and that light, that's backlighting. Yeah, it's just amazing.
The 90s, they were on point.
Yeah, it's great. But like, so yeah, David Fincher being one of my favorite directors, Brad Pitt being one of my favorite actors. Those are two big things about Fight Club. The soundtrack's amazing for the original score and just what happens to pop up in there. Oh yeah, I was telling you this the other day. Just the after he finds the first therapy group,
right?
And he's like, he's talking about bitch tits Bob.
Yeah, yeah,
and he's like, babies don't sleep this good. It's the edit of that thing where it's like you're going through this whole synopsis or this whole thing about this guy just not being able to sleep.
Right.
He finally finds this testicular cancer therapy group that he's bullshitting his way through.
Right.
And then he meets this unlikely meatloaf actor-driven character who then he releases this emotion of just crying. And so it lets him sleep.
Right.
And it's like it cuts to this just perfect shot of Edward Norton in the bed, just like Tom, and the voiceover is like, babies don't sleep this good.
Babies don't sleep this. Yeah, yeah.
And then the montage hits with this really melancholy violin type thing. And it's just the best thing ever.
So well done.
I've just loved it. Can't find that music anywhere. Can't find it on iTunes, Spotify. Can't find it on YouTube. Can't find it. I don't know who does it. It's like if you could find that, please comment what that is, because it's amazing. But like, yeah, the soundtrack, the Pixies at the end, obviously just the greatest thing of all time.
Like, I mean, so the lyrics were applicable.
Oh, it was,
but
that
intro to that song,
yeah,
and then oh man, and the world crumbles.
Yeah,
that's a great scene.
I will say I love who's at the end of The Matrix. What song is that at the end of The Matrix?
Oh,
when he flies off. Is it Rage?
I think it is. I think it's Bomb Track by Rage Against the Machine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's not, it's a similar band.
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it is.
But like, that's an amazing ending too.
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the
ending of Fight Club smokes the Matrix. It's the first Matrix ending.
Right.
The exit of to the credits.
Yeah. I think as mind-bending as they are, I think what a lot of people don't like about Fight Club and what critics were not liking about it is there's a thing in movies where you can cheat people out of a good story, especially at the ending. Like you watch this great movie and you're like, oh, it's all a dream. And you're like, that's just such a cheap ass thing.
Right.
And so you get a little bit of that with, oh, this was all him. And there's not even a Tyler Durden. It's just his his alter ego even, or more so his
right. How much of
that's personality.
Right.
Yeah.
How much of that was part of his mind.
So that feels cheap in a writing way a lot of times for people. But to me, this is the exception to a lot of those movies because of how well done it is.
Right.
It's like, it's never a good idea in a film to, like, when they're in that hotel and you, like, Tyler Durden has been gone for a minute.
Right.
And he comes back and he's got the shaved head and he's wearing the fur coat.
The crazy
and he's got
Tyler,
the big goggles. And he's like, come on, man. He's like, you think this is all me? He basically tells him that you're the guy. You want to be like me? You want to look like me?
This is it.
Yeah. Not a good idea to do that through dialogue. You always want the audience to figure those things out on their own, if possible.
Right.
So I think a lot of people have a problem with that with Fight Club.
Word.
Whereas The Matrix, they do a lot of that explaining through dialogue as well. It's like you have to.
Right.
Like, this is the Matrix. This is what happened. This is how the world came.
But they also do it had that different setup was really neat for me. And they backed off of it in the second and third movies. Like, yeah, they spent a fair amount of time in the actual program. Right. The construct.
Right.
But at the same time, not compared to the first movie, they don't. Like, yeah, there's some really cool action scenes, but
you have to suspend the disbelief.
Absolutely.
And the Matrix does a great job of it in its own way. Fight Club does a really good job of suspending your disbelief through 2 hours and 15 minutes of Edward Norton experiencing this other person.
Right. And
then at the end, you're like, oh shit, he's not real.
I felt so bad for Helena Bonham Carter in that movie.
Yeah. Especially when she's, like when they're at the restaurant.
Or when she's at the house leaving.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Yeah.
She's like, I found this at a thrift store for $1. And Edward Norton is like,
so over her shit.
And
yeah.
Are you going now?
Or like when she comes up and he's like, Tyler Durden's not here.
Right.
Like
Tyler's
to
not
her
here.
face.
Right.
And he's just like, what?
So
when we watched that the other night, and I've read the book, but it's been a long time.
Mm-hmm. Same.
But one cool theory about the movie is if you've never, and this is one where I think they're both on par with each other. I don't think the book's better than the movie, or the movie's better than the book.
Right.
But one theory I had is like you clearly see that Brad Pitt, Tyler Durden's character, is an alter personality or another personality. He's not real. But I had the thought of like, what if Marla Singer
wasn't real?
Yeah,
that's what I was talking about
it's
a second ago.
amazing.
Like how much of it was in his mind?
Yeah.
It really did a good job with that.
And I hadn't thought about that until the other day when we watched it. And I've watched this 100 times, but it was like, damn, that's dope.
Right.
Like if she's not real too, dope.
Is Meatloaf real?
Yeah.
Is
the whole Fight Club real?
Right. Or,
so, which it obviously
when we were talking about that though, I mean, you remember you mentioned earlier the main struggle that leads to Brad Pitt's character is the insomnia, like out the gate.
Or
Edward Norton's first condition was the insomnia that led to like that mental collapse. And I watched it kind of trying to notice to time those two out, like seeing when he started talking about insomnia and how quickly after he met Brad Pitt's character. And it wasn't long after. Yeah,
like you see the flash frames of Brad throughout the therapy scenes.
The first couple of scenes.
Yeah. The movie doesn't give you how long those therapy sessions are.
Right.
But you do get a sense that it is over a span of time.
Weeks. Because he sets up the stuff with, you can have the brain parasites.
Yeah. He's like, I got Tuesdays and Thursdays or whatever. Yeah. So you were like, how long is he in these therapy groups? But how long before that was he experiencing insomnia to where, the mental collapse, like you said, happened. Right. Phenomenal movie. I've loved it for years now, and
same. Like this is a hard call.
Yeah,
for me.
And it just didn't do that well in theaters, and so it's a cult film.
I mean, that can be.
Yeah,
that's understandable because I mean what do they call him the guerrilla terrorist of the clam chowder soup or something like. I mean, that's a raw movie
of the food service industry.
Of the food service, the guerrilla service of the food service, guerrilla service terrorist, whatever. Yeah. I mean,
it's a hard movie to watch if
you're sensitive.
Yeah, it's not general audiences.
Right.
You're not going to be like, let's go take the family to Fight Club.
Right. Like my dad's 79 and we watched The Matrix. He'll be like, wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
That blows my mind.
Yeah.
But that would be
Fight Club make him feel weird.
Well, the presentation of it may.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. And so I can see that, but I mean that's why it's so good too.
So what's like a couple of your favorite things about The Matrix?
I love the little kid with Spoon Boy.
Yeah,
like we were talking about, you talked about that too. That
there is no spoon.
There is no spoon. Like seriously, like the mind is in our world that we live in right now. The mind. We've talked about this before with me in the military. Like I know I've been to physical limits that I did not think I could come past this wall, and I did. Like seeing that in a real world. That's cool. I mean, seeing that, your body your limitations are not really what you perceive them to be until you actually are confronted with them. And that's kind of what they struggle with in that whole series. But like when one of the coolest parts of that movie to me was when they're in the dojo and Lawrence Fishburne just goes, "You think that's air you're breathing?" And I'm like,
yeah.
Oh. just 13-year-old me woke. Like it just, so the scene like that where they first, this is what is going on, and then leaving that movie. I mean, I've never, so I would say that is a literal conspiracy theory or alternate belief system put into a very good movie.
The simulation.
Like the simulation theory.
Yeah.
I can't say, I mean, I didn't know what that was. Right. But like, I mean, I left that movie being like, yo, this could be real.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, as time goes on with technology and computers and the internet, you can see how it will get to that point.
Right.
If it could.
Mm-hmm. If it could.
But how it is already possible that it is,
That's probably my two things. Like my two things is like where the big reveal, like you think that's air you're breathing, like that just tripped me out. And then again, like the spoon conversation following that, but then the end of the movie, like leaving that and walking back out into a normal existence.
Right.
It's like I left that theater and I just took the blue pill and I just carried on with my business like nothing. It just tripped me out a little bit.
Do you remember the movie The Number 23?
Yes.
With Jim Carrey.
Great movie.
So like I remember,
Wild.
How it's just kind of always talking, how everything comes back to 23.
Right.
Just the obsession of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like me and my friend Chris Gunner, shout out Chris Gunner, went and saw that movie. I think we're in like 11th grade.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 2006, 2007.
Right.
But we're walking out of that movie theater and everything we're seeing is 23.
Oh my gosh.
Like speed limit signs.
Right.
All, just doing all the math to make it happen.
Right.
License plates. And, but like that is one similar experience that I've ever had. But like, The Matrix, like you walk out of that movie
and you question.
You're like, this could be a thing.
Right.
Like now I will never not know that this could be a thing.
I can't unsee it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like that is a, whereas like Fight Club, you could have the question like, am I experiencing
mental illness,
other people that are not here?
Right.
Which is wild. That would make you feel very uncomfortable.
But that's a real human situation too.
Yeah.
Like that.
Like people do that
very different.
every day.
Right.
I know rewatchability is huge for you.
Huge.
It's huge for me in the same, but like I definitely think and would agree with you that Matrix is way more rewatchable.
On this one, this case, I think so.
Fight Club is like it's so deep.
It is.
Like
and
the
it's
Matrix
a lot.
is deep too, but like Fight Club is like
well, it's like there's the 2.5 hours. It's all in that. Matrix spread it out over 3. So I mean it's not, even though they're long, it's that meal is tougher to chew.
Do you know if like when they had the Matrix 99, because I know the other two came out like 2003,
right? And
they came out 6 months apart, which was dope. But did you ever know beforehand, like, did the Wachowski brothers, now sisters, did they always have plans for it to be a third, like a trilogy, or was it like it did so well?
No. I think they did.
Okay,
because I think the or the stuff that people weren't really planning for, maybe the animation series, the Animatrix.
Oh yeah, I forgot all about those. Yeah,
great. They're great.
I haven't seen them.
They're great. But I think that was always part of a trilogy, and now with the fourth, and John Wick 4, I'll go see them both.
Yeah, the fourth one's blowing my mind because everybody's back in it.
Everybody's back in it.
Like,
so
it's gonna be like I can kind of guess what's going on already, but it is what it is. But
that's kind of my thing. I think it was planned on to being a franchise, and I'm so glad it was. I love it, and I love Fight Club. But Matrix just.
I want to ask you this: what's one thing you would have done? You wish they had done differently in the Matrix.
Differently in the Matrix.
Like, do you think it's a perfect movie?
No, not at all. Okay. I loved certain things about the agents. They were clearly inhuman. I feel though that they were a little bit, if they were like Neo's, the main character's adversary.
Right.
They had a lot of advantages, and as much as they played into him being equal, Smith being the equal bad, the opposite bad, they had a lot of, they could just hot bodies and stuff like that. Like the body could get killed and then da-da-da-da-da. So that was probably my one gripe Because there was this big thing about the agents being the things that balance out the people that are awoken.
Right.
But again, if they're so inhuman and cannot beat them at all, like I remember the Morpheus saying, everyone who has fought every single person has died.
Right.
Like, nah.
Okay.
That's not real. And that movie tried to make me question reality. Right, they really did.
Right,
but like I would have seen it as much more if it was like more of like a berserker. Like I'm going to come at you as hard as I can as this agent, and I will let myself die. Like I'm a Foo Fighter kamikaze. You're now woken behind.
Right.
That's much more intimidating and more human. The knowing that I could lose on this fight. The agents were almost unable to understand that. And
I think they did a good job of like having them as computer programs trying to feel or imitate humans.
Right.
But like that's what's cool about Smith to me is he wants more.
Yeah.
He wants out of the damn thing.
It's the smell.
Yeah. It's the smell. Yeah.
Yeah.
And eventually in the second one, third one, he gets out,
right.
And he, I guess, takes his consciousness into someone else's brain, but like, which is dope. But yeah, I don't know if there is something that I have a big gripe about with the Matrix.
What about Fight Club?
Fight Club. I don't think it's a perfect movie because, like I said, you have this exposition through dialogue, which is whatever. It's like, yeah, we're going over here because we have to do the thing.
Right.
All movies have it. Some just do it better
Different
than others.
degrees. Something you brought up when we watched it the other night.
What's that?
That's when Edward Norton shot himself and Brad Pitt died.
Yeah.
But he didn't. That's
Yeah, I was always like, when I first watched it, I was like, there's no way he couldn't have died.
Right.
But, as you have morbidly said, that some people fail that suicide attempt all the time.
Right.
But I'm more thinking of it, okay, like it didn't hit his brain, it came out of his mouth, but like.
And I wondered why that
the
killed
loss
Brad
of
Pitt.
blood. Yeah.
Right.
The loss of blood alone would have been like, and then he's talking to Marla later on. It's like, you met me at a very strange time.
You met me at a very strange time about that.
Yeah. But he's like, fine.
Right.
He's like in no pain.
It happens.
It's whatever.
It's unfortunate.
It happens. Sometimes you shoot yourself and you feel fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's not true, folks.
Don't do that.
That is so not true.
No.
But like, yeah, I always had a problem with that. Like, how did this guy not die? And how is he just not feeling pain? But the ending is amazing.
That was a great ending.
Because you're like, dude got the girl. World's on fire.
When he looked down and recognized, he goes, wait a minute, the gun's in my hand. That was a really big moment for me, for Edward Norton in Fight Club. When he just looked down and all of a sudden it's there, not in Brad Pitt's hand anymore.
Yeah.
Like that was a really cool ending. Really
that was
ending.
Cool. Yeah, that to me was always weird. But I don't think it's a perfect movie by any means. But I don't see a lot wrong with it.
There aren't many perfect movies.
Yeah.
We have
everything's wrong with something.
Fido.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't even comment. If you guys have seen this awful movie called Fido, starring Billy Connolly.
Yep.
And Carrie-Anne Moss. Shout out Wade Pursley, who loves this movie.
I like that movie. It's funny.
Yeah, it's awful.
Oh!
It's so awful. We're gonna leave on that today, folks. So yeah, if you enjoy this episode, if you liked it, let us know like which one you like better.
What are two movies you have a hard time picking from as well? That's
definitely know.
Hit us up.
Yeah, definitely know that. But like, which one do you like more, Fight Club or The Matrix? Because one's better than the other.
Yeah. Clearly.
Yeah. Fight Club.
Whatever.
All right, guys.
Later.
See you guys.